Hi, welcome to my video on dividing a binomial by a monomial. Well, I have a page here, not much on it, but I wish to explain how to divide the binomial by monomial. Notice here I have 6 bracket 4, so 6 times 4 divided by 2. That's a multiplication. So I can do 24 divided by 2 and get 12. Or I can divide 2 into 4 or 6. So 2 into 2 goes once, 2 into 6 goes 3, and I get 4 times 3 is 12. But that's okay here because it's multiplying on the top, so you multiply and then divide. But when you have an addition or a subtraction in between these two numbers, you got to be careful. See, because that's really, if you think about it, that's a 10 on the top divided by 2, so that's a 5. Because in math, I always simplify my numerator and my denominator before I divide. And that way I don't make a mistake. But just to illustrate that, if you were to take this problem and just divide by 2, like I did over here, and say 2 into 2 goes once, and 2 into 6 goes 3, then you would get a 7 over 1, or 7. But when I did the top and the bottom separately and then divided, I got a 5. So there's an error here. So I got to be careful. Because there's a plus or I could have a minus here, I have to divide the 2 into both top and the bottom. The 2 got to go into both of them. I can't, because of the plus sign, I can't divide the 2 into the 6 or the 2 into the 4 and leave it out. So I'd put the 2 into both of them. So that gives me a 3 plus a 2, which is a 5. You got to be careful. When you're dividing a monomial into a binomial, you have to divide it into both. To illustrate that again, notice that this problem right here, the top is 10, the bottom is 5, so I get a 2. So that's 10 over 5, which is 2. But if I do the 5 into the 20, I get 4, and I don't put it into the 10, I'll get a negative 6 over 1, which is a negative 6. But I should be getting a 2. So what happens? I have to divide the 5 into both of them. If I do that, then I will not make an error. 5 goes into both of them. So 20 divided by 5 is 4. And 10 divided by 5 is 2. So 4 minus 2 is 2. Now you might say, well, how come you just don't subtract those to get a 10 divide by 5. Well, you're going to have variables. So the variables you can't combine. So to illustrate that here, I have the same thing again, only I have variables. So because that's multiplication, you would go 32x squared on the top, 2x on the bottom, and that gives you 16x. Divide 32 by 2, you get 16. And when we divide, we subtract the exponents. 2 subtract 1 is 1. But you can also go 2x once, 2x here, 2 and 8 goes 4, and the x's cancel. So that gives us 4 times that is 16x. But when I have an addition, if I have an addition, that becomes 12x over 2x. When I add these, I add my like terms, so I add the numbers and keep the literal coefficient. It's like you have 8 books and 4 books, you get 12 books. So when I cancel now, the x's cancel out and I get a 6. So the answer to this one is 6 because I simplify the top and simplify the bottom. But if you cancel, if you do this and this, cancel them and get 4, that's a 4 plus 4x. And you can't add those together because they're not like terms. So you divide the 2x into both terms on the top. So 8x divided by 2x, 4x divided by 2x, that's because of that plus sign. Again, with a multiplication, you can cancel and be okay. But with an addition, you have to divide the denominator into both of these. So 4x divided by 2x, the x's cancel, I get a 4. The x's cancel, and I get 4 divided by 2 is 2. And that gives me the 6. So notice, you cannot cancel the 2x into one of them. It had to go into both of them. So let's do some problems illustrating that. Dividing a binomial by a monomial, you divide each term of the binomial by the monomial and simplify following the pattern when dividing two monomials. So if you get x plus y over a, then it's x over a plus y over a. So I'm going to follow that pattern. The a is divided into both, and I'll write it down. Now so that's 4x divided by 2 plus 6 divided by 2. Notice you can't add these. 4x and 6 are unlike terms, so that you divide 2 into both of them. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, that's an x. 3 divided by 2, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So the 6x squared divided by 3x. Subtract 9x divided by 3x. Now I could add on the opposite if I want. So when I divide here, 6 divided by 3 is 2. X squared divided by x is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. The x's cancel because they're the same, so that's a negative 3. Notice the denominator is divided into both of them. Negative 15x cubed divided by 5x squared plus 25x squared divided by 5x squared. Let's divide. That's a negative 3x. 3 subtract 2 is 1, understood. 25 divided by 5 is 5, and the x's cancel out because they're the same. Now, once you get good at it, you'll be able to say, do I need to write this down? Well, when the problems get really long like this, you got to be careful. But in this case, you can say 2 into that is 2x, 2 into 6 goes 3. So you can do in your head these because they're simple. You can take 6x squared divided by 3x, and it gives you 2x. Take 9x divided by 3x, and you get x. You get 3. But writing it down like this ensures that you're going to be okay. So negative 40x to the 6th, negative 44, over negative 4x cubed plus 24x4 over negative 4x cubed. So notice I divided the negative 4x cubed underneath both of them. So now I can see what's happening. Visually I can see, so that's a positive 11x cubed because you subtract your exponents. That's a positive divided by negative is a negative. So that's a 6. And when I subtract 4 from 3, I get 1, and the 1 is there. So writing it down, you can see it. And then your tendency is not to make an error. Unless you get fast, you get good at it, then it's okay. If you know what you're doing, great. So the AB is put below both of these. There they are. 8 goes once. A squared divided by A is a 1. B's cancel out. Plus 16 divided by 8 is 2. The A's cancel out because they're the same. And 3 minus 1 is 2. Again, it takes a while, but you won't go wrong. So here's second. Over negative 9x cubed y squared z. Subtract 45x cubed y6. And normally you don't get them this long. This is me making the long ones out just to drive home the idea. So notice the negative 9x cubed y squared z is on the bottom of both of these. Now I'll work them out. Negative divided by negative is a positive. That's 3. 4 subtract 3 is 1. The y's cancel. And 3 subtract 1 is 2. And negative divided by negative is a positive. 45 divided by 9 is 5. X cubed divided by x cubed, they cancel out. There's y6. 6 subtract 2 is 4. And 4 subtract 1 is 3. Practice, simplify these. Here we go. So pause the video and play it back to see if you get them right. So 12x4 divided by 6x plus 18x squared divided by 6x. So both of those terms on the top You divide them by 6x. When I do, I get 12 divided by 6 is 2. 4 subtract 1 is 3. So 18 divided by 6 is 3. And 2 subtract 1 is 1. There's, you put the 1 in if you wish. And negative 7x to the 6 plus 21x to the 5 divided by negative 7x to the 5 divided by negative 7x to the 5. So I'm putting the negative 7x to the 5 below both of these. That's done. And they cancel out because they're the same. And I get 6 subtract 5 is 1. Negative divided by positive divided by negative is a negative. 21 divided by 7 is 3. And the 5's cancel out. So x minus 3 is the answer. Next page. More examples. Pause the video and work the 4 of these out to see if you're going to get them right. And if you want, you can just look at this and divide right now. 50 divided by negative 10 is negative 5. And it's x squared and a y. Then you have to divide this. You have to divide both. But if you write it down, 50x cubed y squared minus over negative 10xy, and that's a 30x squared y over negative 10xy. Notice we have a subtraction has gone too high there. Let me put it in the middle here. Or I could leave it up there if I want. Is that your choice? Anyway, 50 divided by negative 10 is a negative 5. 3 subtract 1 is 2. 2 subtract 1 is 1. 1 understood. Negative divided by negative is positive. 30 divided by 10 is 3. 2 subtract 1 is 1. And the y's cancel. So, there we go. We write so there's the top ones. I'll draw a line underneath each, and the 2a squared b cubed is divided into both of them. Again, repeat. If you know what you're doing, you can divide that one into that one and write the answer down. So let's work this out first, and I'll go back to that. Negative divided by positive is a negative 13. A squareds cancel, and I get a b. 4 subtract 3 is 1. And as a positive, 14 divided by 2 is 7. And 3 subtract 2 is 1. And 5 subtract 3 is 2. So if you weren't going to write this step down, let's cover that up right there. Pretend it's not there. If you were to take this and divide into this one and use your head, you'd say 2 into negative 26 is negative 13. Then you got an a squared and an a squared, so they just cancel. So b4 divided by b cubed is a b. Then you take this and divide into this one then to get this one. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. A cubed divided by a squared is an a. b5 divided by b cubed is b squared. So you didn't have to do this, but I mean, that keeps everything okay. You won't get it wrong by writing it. So number 5 is x6y5 plus 18x4y. And the 9x to the 4 y goes below both. And we divide. 9 divided by 9 is 1. X, 6 subtract 4 is 2. 4 subtract, that's a 1. 4 subtract 1 is 3. Plus 18 divided by 9 is 2. And they cancel, and they cancel. So notice both of these cancel now. So I get x squared y cubed. And number 6, negative 24a 5b 6c cubed. Subtract 16a 4b squared c. And I'm putting the negative 8a cubed b squared c squared below both. Because this monomial has to divide into both of them. Remember, it's because of that subtraction sign. It's because of that plus sign. This has to divide into both of these. And here we go. What do I get? Negative divided by negative positive. 24 divided by 8 is 3. And I got 5 subtract 3 is 2. 6 subtract 2 is 4. And 3 subtract 2 is 1. Understood. Negative divided by negative is positive. 16 divided by 8 is 2. I got A's, so it's 4 subtract 3 is 1. And the B's cancel. And the C, I'm just going to put a B down there then. 7 subtract 2 is 5. So there's the answer. Notice you can't add these. They're unlike terms. You can't add these. They're unlike terms. Okay, that brings us to the end of that video on division. Notice the binomial on top, monomial on the bottom. You divide the monomial into both of the terms on the top. If you like my video, click the like button, the subscribe button if you haven't done already, and the notification bell because there's more videos coming. Write a comment if you wish, and visit my math website at mathfullyexplained.com. And there you'll have 3 sections. One about me, my degrees and teaching experience. The other one on the teaching strategy you're going to use to help you learn your math. And the most important is the content, the topics, or the units that's on the YouTube channel, and the number of videos that's on each of those topics. And the black font is what's online right now, and the red font is what's online in the future. So that's why you click the notification bell if you like what I'm doing, because there's more videos coming each week. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.